We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Afternoon stream over here at the KnicksNation channel. Appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in. Hello and welcome. My name is Anthony. Told you I would be doing content all week long. The New York Knicks will play the Atlanta Hawks on Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. That starts in Madison Square Garden. I cannot wait for that. But we have all week to talk about it. Not really much coming out, not really much news regarding the OG Anunoby injury, but I decided to come on here and just vibe with you guys, talk about the matchups, talk about how the New York Knicks can exploit the Atlanta Hawks in many different areas. So strap in and let's go. I'll wait for more of you guys to trickle in here, but let's play the podcast intro and then away we go.
Basketball. You're listening to the KnicksNation podcast, where we've got all your Knicks needs covered.
Puts up a three. Bang! Bang! He ties the game!
Now, live from the city that never sleeps, here are your hosts, Anthony and Chris.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, April 14th. My camera broke. Those of you that were on my last live stream, I apologize. At the end of the stream, my camera actually broke and it cut my stream short. I was in the middle of a phone call with Say Quizzy. It cut off on him, so this camera is no more. I'm using another camera as of right now. So away we go to start off the playoff week. Some technical difficulties there, but appreciate every single one of you that hopped in my last live stream. It was awesome. One of the most watched in a while because people are excited. This Rover Joel, what's going on? People are excited to watch the New York Knicks face off the Atlanta Hawks. Joel, what's going on? Appreciate you in here. Dis Rover, what's going on here? All right, so Knicks finished number 3 in the Eastern Conference. The Atlanta Hawks came in finishing number 6 seed in the Eastern Conference, 46-36. Typical 3-6 matchup, right? The Knicks, to close out the season, actually had some pretty good wins under their belt, most recently against the Atlanta Hawks as well. When the Knicks fans question if they're battle-tested, if they're quote-unquote limping into the playoffs, which I don't necessarily think they are. I think they're in a good spot right now. So we just have to wait and see what team shows up on Saturday. But folks, the Atlanta Hawks are dangerous. Don't sleep on them. Hawks finished the regular season on a strong note. You know, they had wins over Boston, Cleveland, Orlando. They dropped 146 on Memphis, 141 on Brooklyn. So they could score. They could put the ball in the basket for sure. I'm going to get into my X factors. That's the thumbnail on the screen. And those of you that have looked at the thumbnail, you know who my X factors are in this series, in which I think the Knicks can just take control and just dominate, honestly. So, look, Knicks beat them 108-105, April 6th. That was a week and a half ago, the most recent meeting. What did that game show us? Did Atlanta show their full package? Did the New York Knicks show their full package? Remember, that was a game in which Mike Brown implemented the two-man game between Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. So that was a positive. Nostalgic. What's going on? So key players to watch, in my opinion, on the Knicks side is my X factors. They are Karl-Anthony Towns and they are Mitchell Robinson. Now I know what you're saying. What do you mean Karl Anthony Towns is an X factor? He makes $50+ million a year. Well, simply, I just don't think the Atlanta Hawks have anyone to guard Karl Anthony Towns. Look, they tried Okongwu on him last game. Cat was blowing by him multiple times, especially in that fourth quarter. Watch the film, Hawks fans. Jock Landale is currently injured. He's dealing with a high ankle sprain, so I don't know the status on him on the Atlanta Hawks side. I'm assuming that he's going to gut it out and try to come back, maybe possibly for a game 2 or maybe when the series starts in Atlanta. But that is ultimately their bigs. And if they're without Landale, then they're really thin in that position. So I honestly think if the New York Knicks run their offense through Karl Anthony Towns with Jalen Brunson as the closer, this could be and should be a 5-game series with the Atlanta Hawks just winning 1 game. Yes, that is my prediction. Knicks in 5. I don't believe this goes 6. I would be extremely shocked if this goes 7. But if the Knicks are playing up to their standard, playing their A game, not playing around with their food, the Hawks simply have no one to box out Mitchell Robinson. One of the Hawks' weaknesses is rebounding the basketball, and that is one of the Knicks' strengths. So when you pair those things together, it's not a good recipe for Atlanta. Hawks, poor rebounding team. Mitchell Robinson can come in the game and dominate, which we saw on the April 6th matchup with the New York Knicks in Atlanta. Nostalgic says, I predict the Hawks win in game 1. Nostalgic? No way. I don't think so. But those two are my X factors. Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns. If they control the glass, if they dominate the glass, I just think everything else will fall into place. We don't necessarily need a big series from Mikal, need a big series from OG Anunoby. They just need to do their thing. And I think the Knicks will be fine. Jalen Brunson's going to give you 25 and 30 every night, every game in the playoffs, right? That's a given. That's a fact. Karl Anthony Towns, run the offense through Cat, start early, and away we go. Away we go, man. This should be an easy matchup for the big men. Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat tuning in on this Tuesday afternoon talking Knicks-Hawks. That starts up on Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. That starts up on Saturday. So, Karl Anthony Towns, 21 points, 75% shooting, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals in that Hawks win on April 6th. When he's engaged on both ends of the floor, when the Knicks are utilizing him and using him, it's good luck, right? It's good luck. But Jock Landale, so again, injury update time. OG Anunoby is day-to-day. It seems like he's going to be fine. I believe quotes haven't come out today about Knicks practice. I believe that comes out tomorrow, where the reporters will be in Knicks practice and get some nice quotes from Mike Brown and the guys. But Jock Landale on the Hawks side, diagnosed with a higher ankle sprain, was set to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. He got hurt versus Orlando. Playoff start Saturday. I don't know. He's their only real backup big for Atlanta, right? Hawks fans are telling me that they can neutralize Mitchell Robinson, just box him out. Okay. If it's that simple, cool. Try it. You can't neutralize Mitchell Robinson. You're not going to neutralize Mitchell Robinson. He's going to treat your bigs like barbecue chicken, like we saw last time. And if they are without Jock Landale, their backup big, which is the consensus right now, is that he's going to miss the series. We can bully them in the post. Bully them. Resulting in a short series, 5-game series, right? If he's back, then okay, we'll talk about it. He's not really a difference maker, but he gives them another body in the paint, another body down low to try to box out Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns, both of his assignments. Mellow Mike, what's going on? Lamar, what's going on? Salute, Lamar. Appreciate the members in here. Lamar, the member, appreciate you. Dis Rover says, all we need from Wingstop is to close out behind the arc properly. That's it, man. Hawks got a lot of shooters. You got to watch out on that, especially Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They can get hot in a blink. Their offense is really good and can get hot at times. But I just think if the Knicks slow the pace down, which in the playoffs we have seen is that these fast-paced offensive, sometimes they slow down. Again, Hawks, they have experience on their team. Let's not make it out to be like the Hawks don't have experience. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I think he's been in back-to-back conference finals. CJ McCollum, they have experience. You know, Jalen Johnson's fresh. Okongwu, a little bit of experience. But they have experience, but ultimately I think the front court, you gotta expose that if you're Mike Brown, and that's game plan number one. And I think he's doing that, and away we go, guys. Away we go. But Karl-Anthony Towns is the headliner, in my opinion, in this series. He is. Mellow Mike says, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I'm picking the New York Knicks to clean sweep first couple of games at MSG, then finish these birds at MSG South. Let's go. Let's go, Mellow Mike. Let's go. Lamar says Atlanta's gassed up. We about to smoke the asses. Latino, what's going on? Says, this is the road I like. No pain, no gain. Once we win, you, Ant, will be the first person I hug. Much love to you. Much love to you, Latino. Appreciate you in the chat. Shout out to you in the chat, Latino. Hug it out after we win, man. We got to get together. Hug it out. So Cat is the headliner, in my opinion. Atlanta, look, Okongwu is really good for them. He averages 15.7 rebounds. He's solid, but he's not built to defend Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, he's not built to defend Karl-Anthony Towns on the perimeter. And we saw a lot of times on April 6th where Karl-Anthony Towns just blew right by him. He went for the pump fake. He could shoot over him, go right around him. And I think this should be a scheme-breaking mismatch for the New York Knicks all series long. You know, so watch how many times Cat catches that ball in the mid post with Okongwu on him, right? I think that could yield positive results for the New York Knicks. Mitchell Robinson, wild card, does not need the ball to dominate. Just throw it up to him, and as we've seen over these last few weeks, the New York Knicks have caught him on a lot of lobs lately, and that's a positive, very positive development here. But he will be caught on switches, and Atlanta would try to get him to actions and have him guard like Dyson Daniels or Nickeil Alexander-Walker if they try to get Mitch on a switch, and I'm okay with that, right? But Mitchell Robinson, again, another big that Atlanta has no answer for down low. Another big where Atlanta has no answer for down low. So, especially with no Jock Landale, with no Lando. And that guy doesn't even scare me. Watch out for a lot of two-man, big-man lineups, too. Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns. Watch out for that because we had success in doing that in Atlanta during that April 6th game. Jalen Brunson obviously took over in the fourth quarter. But once we go to that, offensively, I think it can lock us a little bit. Defensively, we saw Atlanta kind of expose that a little bit, that I'm a little bit concerned about. But, guys, the more I think about this matchup, the more I have slept on it ever since my stream on Sunday, the more I've just taken all the statistics in, the more I just let it pass the Atlanta Hawks hype. I just think this should be a 5-game series for the New York Knicks. I do. I really do. Because I looked at the Hawks' schedule. Yes, they were the hottest team in the NBA after the All-Star break. But if you look at their schedule, who did they play? They didn't play anybody. They didn't play anyone. Lamar says Atlanta wanted us. They're underestimating us. So let's put the belt to ass. Let's go, Lamar. Let's go. All right, let's get to the coaching, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to the coaching, and then we will play some audio and react to it. So, Mike Brown. So, this is Mike Brown's first year as a New York Knicks head coach. The anti-Thibs. Mike Brown is the anti-Thibs. Brown has stuck with his starting five, Brunson, Hart, Bridges, OG, and Cat, saying, quote, if I feel I need to make a change at any time, I'll make a change, but I don't feel that way right now. That sounds stubborn, but here's a key difference from Tom Thibodeau. Like that quote right there, it sounds stubborn when he doesn't deviate from the starting five, but he actually goes deep in the bench. And that is where this Knicks team has an advantage this year prior to last year compared to last year is the bench, right? Remember the NBA Cup game? He went deep into the bench. Clarkson, Kolek. I don't necessarily think he'll go 10 deep, but he could, right? And we even saw it in Sacramento at times. He's not stubborn. He will play the hot hand. He's not stubborn with his guys. You know, when he was with the Kings and they finished, second in the West that year? They got matched up with the Golden State Warriors, which was a bad matchup, but he's not stubborn at all. So he's a clear departure, in my opinion, from Tom Thibodeau in that regard. So watch who he closes games with. Does he close games with Mitch? Does he close games with Hart? Right? Depending on the game. It's going to depend on the game. It is also worth noting the starting unit net rating is only plus 0.7. And they are a brutal minus 8.1 in the first quarter. That is the New York Knicks starters net rating. That compared to Atlanta's starts and their hot offense, that is where the New York Knicks can get into trouble, is the starts of these basketball games. Like, they need to come out of these games focused, with a plan, and with a continuity in which they've been building over these last few weeks, right? Atlanta can get hot. So watch the first quarters closely if you're a New York Knicks fan. And I just think that, you know, if the Knicks can take care of the first quarter, we should be good. We should be good. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. Again, let me know if my camera's okay. I think everything is okay over here. Once again, I had to get a new camera. So I'm actually using my iPhone 17 Pro Max. So let me know if I'm having any technical difficulties over here. But yeah, guys, I'm excited, man. Look, playoffs are here. We got a few days to kind of mess around and banter back and forth with you guys. But again, this should be, no matter who it was, whether it was the Raptors, the Hawks, the Magic, the 76ers, it doesn't matter. The Knicks should advance no matter who it is. Maybe it'll take a couple of more games. Maybe it'll take one more game. Maybe it'll take, I don't know, God forbid, 3 more games, which we don't want. Either way, you should be staring at a second-round matchup against the Boston Celtics. And we'll see who matches up with Boston, right? Is it Philly? Who matches up with Boston? But it should be a fun series. And look, you had Knicks fans yesterday. The talking point was, I'd rather face the Atlanta Hawks to get me ready for the second round. I kind of agree, both sides, no matter how you look at it. But you always want the easier path. You always want the easier path. This way you play the less games and you're healthier. If you extend these rounds, by a quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 4 quarters, a game, 2 games, 3 games, you're risking injury, right? You're risking injury at that point, and that's what you don't want. But yes, we're kind of comparing it to last year where the Pistons kind of beat us up a little bit, and we were prepared for Boston, and we beat Boston. So I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk, but I do think the Hawks will give us a run for our money. But I still do think when it comes time to close in the fourth quarter, that is when it's Jalen Brunson time. And I see a lot of Hawks fans on X saying Jalen Johnson is the best player in this series. Bruh. Stop. You got no Brunson, man. You got no closer. You got no closer. So you have no closer. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Appreciate that Dis Rover. Thought I was I thought I was out there. Like I thought I was like not showing up on the screen for some reason. Appreciate this Rover. Yeah. They thought he was the best player in the series. Stop. He's a good player. Jalen Johnson's a really good player. He's a up and coming, in my opinion, star in this league. But come on, man. Brunson's resume. Look it up. Like, look up James Brunson's resume in the playoffs, especially. Please do so. Please do so. Hawks fans are delirious right now. Like, I get it. I get the Hawks fans being extra optimistic. And we saw Chandler Parsons and Lou Williams, and I'll play the clip in a few, actually picking the Atlanta Hawks again.
Bruh.
Okay. And I see some Knicks fans, not a lot. I see some Knicks fans, and I've even gotten comments on my videos saying that I sound scared. I'm not scared at all for going against this Hawks team. I'm not scared. I just like to look at this from both sides. I'm not. It was just last month or 3 weeks ago where a lot of Knicks fans, Knicks media were saying they don't want to face the Atlanta Hawks in the first round because they can possibly knock someone out. But that was prior to the Knicks last week and a half of the season where they showed you that, okay, when they're serious, they can hunker down defensively. Best fourth quarter rating in the NBA. The starts have been better, right? They have been better. And the two-man game with Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson has worked, guys. It's worked. It's worked. Dis Rover says everybody is better than Jalen Brunson until it's time to be better than Jalen Brunson. Exactly. You could say it, Hawks fans. It's not going to happen. Marie says, I think the cards fell. What's going on, Marie? Appreciate you in the chat. I think the cards fell perfectly for us. It will be a great test for the first round. It will only get tougher. Great test for the first round. I'm respecting the Hawks, but I think this should be a 5-game series. I am picking the New York Knicks in 5. That is my final prediction. Knicks in 5, baby. Knicks in 5. Judah out rebound the Hawks. Easy series. It's that simple, guys. I mean, it's that simple. Look, Atlanta's front court depth without Langdale is what? Okongwu. Who's the other guy they have? Yai? He's on their team, right? Look, hope for the best, Atlanta. Hope for the best. Go to sleep Friday night with your Atlanta Hawks jersey on. Nice and ironed. Get excited for 6 p.m. on Saturday night. But when 8:30 hits, you're probably going to be down 0-1. Yeah, and then you're going to be rethinking your predictions. Again, you guys are good, but I just think the Knicks, it's funny, now you hear everyone in the national media kind of picking the New York Knicks to make it all the way to the NBA Finals. Right? We're finally here in the playoffs. Yes, everyone is still picking the Boston Celtics, but you're starting to see some people come around to the New York Knicks because of that Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns two-man game, which has kind of been unlocked here, right? So, look, Hawks fans, if Langdale can't go, like, and he's not like, I'm making him out to be like this interior presence. He's he's good. He doesn't suck. But you're expecting Okongwu to give you, 35 minutes? Like, if you're the Knicks, you would try to get him into foul trouble. Get Okongwu into foul trouble. Get these guys into foul trouble. Right? Jalen Brunson is really good at getting Dyson Daniels in foul trouble. We've seen that multiple times in these matchups. And Hawks fans, please don't tell me Dyson Daniels is going to shut down Jalen Brunson. He's not. Stop. He's not. Guys, is Okongwu, who's good, and the Knicks have to get out to the three-point line because he's a good shooter. Is Okongwu good enough to keep Cat below 25 a game in this series? Is Okongwu good to keep Cat below 25 a game in this series? The answer is no. He's not. They got no one to guard Cat. They could throw wings at him. They could try to throw Jalen Johnson at him. Smaller defenders at him. Then Okongwu will be on Josh Hart. And they can try to see how that plays out. But get these guys in a foul trouble. Jalen Brunson, Dyson Daniels, get these guys in a foul trouble. Right? Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. Run It Back made some headlines yesterday because of their predictions. And look, you knew that you were going to have some people predict the Atlanta Hawks to win the series, which is dumb. But I'm actually surprised that I haven't seen more people pick the Hawks, but I just think people are starting to come around to the fact that the Knicks are really damn good. And you know for a fact after one of these games, probably after like game 1 or game 2, it's still F. Trae Young. It's still F. Trae Young. Like there's Knicks fans are gonna chant it at the end of these games. I can hear it already. I can hear. I'm trying to get to the clip. Trying to get to the clip that was making its rounds. Damn, they post a lot of videos. Holy shit. Once again, shout out to the chat. Bro. I should have had this pulled up. Are the Knicks going to give Cat the ball for him to get 25? That is from Teddy in the chat. Teddy on the train. Teddy on the subway. I think they will. I think they will. I think Mike Brown is going to realize that the Atlanta Hawks, I think that's where we're going to see Mike Brown's coaching coming to the forefront, is that the Atlanta Hawks have no one to guard Cat. They don't. Get him the ball early. Get him involved early. Get that two-man game going early. Let Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns feed off of one another. Another. iPhone 17 Pro Max doing well. Yeah. So if those of you that were in my last live stream, it cut out. Like I was live streaming the most I've live streamed, like 2 hours, and then this camera just died. And then I had to the live stream ended, and I felt terrible because I was in the middle of a call on Discord. But yeah, I'm using my iPhone. All right, here it is.
And New York.
But that's an advantage for like the Hawks. Now there's no distraction. There's no hoopla of the villain going in town. These are just guys that keep their head down.
New York's going to create one.
Oh, yeah, they will for
gonna
sure. But I'm just saying there's no headlines going into this with Trae Young returning to the Garden and there's none of that.
Well, can I insert this, that maybe this is some bulletin board material? The Hawks didn't play their starters against the Heat. That's what got
Like
them
they
the 6th seed.
wanted the Knicks.
Thank you.
And again, if you win this series, you still then got to go through the Celtics. Then you still got to go through the Pistons or the Cavs. Like eventually, you're going to have to play who you have to play.
One at a time, Chandler.
So one at a time. But again, do I think this is a favorable matchup for the Knicks? No way.
All right. So how many games? Who wins? You want to hot take us again?
I like it 6.
Do I think this is a favorable matchup for the Knicks? No way. How could you say no way?
I get 6 either way.
Either way.
Which way?
Either.
Do it.
ATL.
Yeah, there you
Hawks
go.
Then. If y'all want me to.
All right. I don't even want to play this. It's just They're doing it for the clicks because they're doing this for the engagement, right? That's what they're doing it for, the engagement. How could you say no way? The New York Knicks should be able to beat the Hawks in 5 games. Should be. Should be one of those series in which we look back and we're like, why were some of us Knicks fans nervous about this series? Should be. Right? Should be. But I think the Knicks are ready. I think they're ready. I think they're poised for a long playoff run. I'm starting to get my excitement back for this Knicks team because I think this is what they've been waiting for is the playoffs. This is all what we've been waiting for, the playoffs. Right? Get there. Doesn't matter who we play in the first round. Just get to the second round. Let's see what happens, right? We're healthy. We're deep. And let's see how Mike Brown navigates this thing. Let's see how he navigates this thing. So, away we go. Judah says the Knicks are the most hated team, especially from the media. Yep. Gail, how are you? If JB includes the team and passes them open, we will excel. Brown must be on top of his rotations and think smart. Guard the 3, don't overcommit. Then we got this. Well said, Gail. Get Karl-Anthony Towns the ball from the start. It's that simple. Look, I said it opening up the live stream is that the Atlanta front court, the depth is a problem, especially without Langdale. They don't have anyone to guard Cat. They don't have anyone to guard Mitchell Robinson. You could try to box him out. You can hope and pray and say your prayers before Friday night. It is not going to happen. You could try to double team Mitchell Robinson. You could try to face guard him. It's not going to happen. He'll just jump right over you. He'll just have his long hands and his long arms and grab the offensive rebound like he's been doing. And in the playoffs, if you rebound the ball, if you shoot well, and if you share the basketball, you're going to be hard to beat. I heard this yesterday from Brian Windhorst. If you were constructing a roster in the NBA, the Knicks roster is pretty much 98% complete if you were constructing a roster. We have a guy that can shut you out in the fourth quarter. We have a 7-foot big man that can shoot lights out. We have 2 wings that when they're on, they're on. We got to get Mikal right sometimes, but I think he's going to be okay. And we have Josh Hart kind of doing the little things in the starting lineup, right? And lately he's been one of the Knicks' best shooters. So, and then your bench. You have Jordan Clarkson, Landry Shamet, Mitch Robinson, Deuce McBride had a nice last game of the season. You know, I just Saturday's going to be fun. This first round's going to be fun. The Hawks are a good test. But if the Knicks are right, and I think they are, if the Knicks are right, if they are playing the way they should be playing, sharing the basketball and playing through CAD, I think there should be a short series. I think there should be a short series. So away we go. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. Happy Tuesday. If you're just joining, just vibing, talking about the Knicks and Hawks starts again. So it starts not again, but on Saturday at 6 p.m. on Amazon Prime. On Amazon Prime. It is not on MSG networks. First year that the NBA is doing that. This is from Alan Hahn. He said they should not go 6 or 7 against the Atlanta Hawks if they're at full strength. And I agree. Look, if it goes 6 and you still win, cool. Who's going to care if you make it to the second round, right? But you want to go into the second round with confidence and with a sense of confidence, like just confidence that, look, we can beat this team, and I think we will beat them, the Boston Celtics I'm talking about, but we don't want to skip steps. Dis Rover says, only pothole we need to fill is a reliable backup wing. Yes, and look, for the majority of the year, that was Mo D, right? And the Knicks kind of Look, last game, I know he was kind of like disappointing, but he really hasn't gotten consistent playing time. So when you just keep on taking him out the rotation, just throwing him in here, throwing him in there, taking him out the rotation, throwing him in there, it will mess with your psyche, and it will mess with your, the continuity with the fellas and the consistency. So Joel says Hawks fans going to be disrespectful. Unknown says, not going to lie, we haven't even touched our final form yet. Agree. Knicks 12 all day says ATL is going to give us problems with athleticism. It's not going to be easy. Look, this is not me disparaging the Atlanta Hawks, right? This is not me disparaging the Atlanta Hawks whatsoever. The Hawks are good, folks. If you're a Hawks fan, which I'm not, right? So take this with a grain of salt. If you're a Hawks fan, if you are thinking that the Atlanta Hawks will beat the New York Knicks, you have to hope for like three things. You have to hope that you will shoot above 40% from three in the series. That's one. You have to hope that Jalen Johnson is the best player in the series. That's two. And you have to hope that some way, somehow, you can out-rebound this New York Knicks team on any given night and neutralize Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns on the glass. That is the only way that, if you're a Hawks fan, you have a smither of hope to beat this New York Knicks team. There possibly is even a fourth, but that's a lot to go right for you, right? Again, if you're looking at this from a Hawks standpoint, you can say the New York Knicks are poor at times defending the perimeter. You could look back to the game on April 6th when the Hawks were shooting lights out, but Nickeil Alexander-Walker was hitting like fadeaway threes on the baseline in front of the Knicks bench. Maybe they replicate that. Look, maybe they have the magnet ball. Maybe they do. Again, I said my last stream that CJ McCollum was kind of their glue. He's the guy who will run the offense. He's the guy who would hit mid-range shots when their offense is stagnant. He's the guy who, if he's open, he's going to make it. Like, he's their kind of glue on their team that makes everything run. But when it comes down to the front court and, a half-court offense in which in a playoff series, I just think the Knicks have a better half-court offense than the Hawks do. I just think that this could be a short series. But, again, we'll see. Appreciate every single one of you guys in here. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Once again, my name is Anthony. If you're new here, hello. Pleasure to meet you. It is playoff week. I think the play-in kicks off today, right? Play-in kicks off today. Knicks don't play it. Yeah, Miami, Charlotte, Portland, Phoenix. I'm going to give Charlotte a win. I am going to actually give Portland a win. That is my prediction on that standpoint. But we'll see. We'll see. Look, I wanted to get to Bobby Portis. He said some nice things on the New York Knicks. Oh man, what is Stephen A. Smith saying now? All right. Do I want to play this? Stephen A. Smith believes Mike Brown will be fired if the Knicks lose in the first round in the playoffs. Mike Brown will be scapegoated. My thing is, why are we talking about this? Duh. Like, why? But why is this? This is going to generate more reactions than actually breaking the series down, which I hate in the mainstream media. Like, why are we talking about this? Duh. If the Knicks lose in the first round, newsflash, a lot of changes are going to happen. A lot. This Rover says, when have things ever been easy for the Knicks? Well said. It's true. Looking back at it, like last year, the Detroit series was tough, right? They had a lead in game 1, and we came back. What do we have, like a 21-0 run in that fourth? Something crazy like that? Celtics series, tough. Pacers series, game 1 changed the whole thing. Wasn't easy. The Philly series a couple of years ago, back and forth, but Knicks handled them. But it took some magic. Like, do you think that against the Hawks, you're going to need that magic again? You're going to need a 21-0 run in the fourth quarter. You're going to need a big shot in the fourth quarter. You're going to need, like, I don't know. I don't foresee it. But like you said, like, it hasn't been easy, which is why a lot of us wanted the Raptors in the first round. That's not saying that the Hawks are, these juggernauts, but it hasn't. Like, you're right. Like, things haven't been easy. And that's the way I like it. That's the way most Knicks fans like it, too. It's not easy. Life isn't easy. Life is never easy. And that's basketball. The only team I think has the easiest path right now is possibly the Thunder to get to the NBA Finals.
Mike Brown is going as the head coach. Karl Anthony Towns, likely Mikal Bridges, and who knows who the hell else is going as New York Knickerbockers. That's the bottom line. You understand? It's just that simple. If you lose in the first round to the Atlanta Hawks, I think heads are going to roll because remember, you got rid of Tom Thibodeau. Now, that might be more James Dolan than Leon Rose, even though Leon Rose is the guy who officially pulled the trigger. But I think that ultimately Mike Brown will be scapegoated. I don't want Mike Brown fired. I'm not saying he deserves to be fired. I think he's a good coach.
The Knicks are not losing in the first round, so we can end that argument. If the Knicks lose in the first round, disastrous. The Knicks are not losing in the first round. Joel says Brunson will drop 45 in game 1. Let's go. Saturday. Can't wait, guys. It's here. Playoffs are here. El Figgy, what's going on? El Figgy made it. Appreciate you, El Figgy. Poop Barlow says Knicks will blow up the team if they don't get out the first round. Of course. Not blow it up, but there will be massive changes. And, yeah, that's the genius of Stephen A. Smith. Genius take, Stephen. If the Knicks lose in the first round, Mike Brown's getting fired. Of course. Now, but why are we talking about that? It's not going to happen. Teddy says, can't wait. Dog's coming back. So injury update once again. OG Anunoby is day to day. It's looking like he is good. Again, we'll see tomorrow or Thursday whenever the media is available to the New York Knicks. I'm assuming that he's okay. Langdale on the Atlanta Hawks. That status is up in the air. Air? Why did I say air like that? Let me just search really quick. Because I don't think he's going to be available. The Hawks and Knicks are relatively even squads, but each side possesses a specific advantage over the other. Atlanta's lone disadvantage can be solved by Jock Langdale's return. If he comes back in time, this series could change drastically.
Bruh.
This series is going to change drastically because of Jock Langdale. Again, he is a big part of trying to neutralize Mitchell Robinson, and he will help their front court depth. But the fact that you had to write this, first of all, we're not relatively even to the Atlanta Hawks, right? Like, it's not even. And like, am I crazy here? Like, they're not even squads. Like, but we'll see. We'll see. It's looking like he probably will return in the series, but I just don't know the status. Again, he has a high ankle sprain, so we just have to see if he's going to be healthy. And again, try and hope and pray some more that you could stop Mitchell Robinson on the offensive glass, which you can't. And those Hawks fans that are saying Dyson Daniels is going to neutralize Jalen Brunson. Brunson stats versus Dyson Daniels in his career. Do you think this will pop up? It did. Jalen Brunson has averaged 25, 6.5, and 2 rebounds in 9 games versus Dyson Daniels in his career. And I wonder how many times Brunson has fouled him out as well. Last year, he owned them. 34, 36, 34. This year, 24. Last game, 30 and 13. What's the field goal percentage? 48, 44, 66, 61, 51. Last couple have been down. I know the last game he was pretty much inefficient. But look, Dyson Daniels is one of the league's top perimeter defenders. But if you think for a second that Jalen Brunson cares and is going to be neutralized from Dyson Daniels, if you're a Hawks fan, please think again, because this matchup is Jalen Brunson. Like, look, if Jalen Brunson's on, it's going to be a short series for the Hawks. It is. But, again, I want to respect Dyson Daniels because he's probably going to finish in one of the All-NBA teams. But there are some players in which Jalen Brunson just dominates, right? And look, when you saw this stretch last year, and I remember these games, and I think 2 of these games, or one of these games last year, he got Dyson Daniels to foul out of them. 34, 36, 34. That's 3 straight 30-plus point games against Dyson Daniels in Brunson's career. Like, come on now. Come on. So they have no one to neutralize Brunson, especially in the clutch. They have no one to guard Karl-Anthony Towns on the perimeter and interior. They can try to put their big Okongwu on Hart and maybe throw a Jalen Johnson on Hart, on Karl-Anthony Towns. But Jalen Johnson has actually been underperforming defensively this year compared to last. So they can try to do many things. And game 1 shall be interesting to see what they do. But ultimately, if you're a New York Knicks fan, you're confident. Like, I'm extremely confident that this Knicks team will advance to the second round. I am excited as heck. I'm starting to get the playoff jitters back. But ultimately, I think the Knicks are in a good spot, man. We're in a good spot, guys. There should be no world in which we lose to this Hawks team. I'm just that confident. If you're in the chat and you think otherwise, please explain why. Again, I'm trying to look at this in many different angles. And again, I laid out, if you're a Hawks fan, like, if you think there's a chance that you can win this series, a lot of things have to go right for you. But we'll see. El Figgy says the Knicks hate is real and palpable in the media. Exactly, El Figgy. Mellow Mike, 46 people in the chat. Appreciate you, every single one of you guys in the chat tuning in to this afternoon stream. If you're just tuning in, RIP to my camera. I'm using my iPhone 17 right now to stream. This camera died on me last stream, and the stream ended abruptly. So I apologize for that. Mellow Mike says people really overhyping the Hawks like they're top 3 in the East. They're not. They're going to show them. Exactly, Mellow Mike. Exactly. Play through Cat. right? I posted a short about it on my last live stream. If the New York Knicks play through Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, and it starts with Karl-Anthony Towns, if they play through Cat, it opens up everything. You don't need OG Anunoby to go for 30. You don't need him. He could, but you don't need him. You don't need Mikal Bridges to drop 20. You don't need that against this Hawks team if your offense is clicking, and that is playing through Cat to start this game one. Let's set the tone early. Let's have these good first quarters. Let's open up these games with a bang. Again, that is the only way. Oh, that could be the fourth thing if you're a Hawks fan, is that the Knicks starters and your starters, your net rating is substantially better than our net rating in terms of our starters. So if the Hawks go up 10, 15 in the first quarter, the Knicks are already a step behind and have to claw their way back into these games, in which they did on April 6th versus Atlanta. That could be a mountain that the New York Knicks will try to avoid. But again, Mike Brown has said he doesn't want to change the starters now. But if the Knicks have their backs up against the wall, then I think he possibly will change the starting lineup. Joel says, quick thought, didn't all analysis and fans pick the Cavs versus the Knicks back in the 2023 playoffs? If I remember, Joel, like a lot of people did, but like I was at one of those games and the Cavs were just crapping their pants, man. They were nervous. They were nervous. They couldn't handle MSG. They couldn't handle Madison Square Garden at all. And maybe the Hawks are I don't think the Hawks are the Cavs because they have experience. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been to a conference finals. CJ McCollum has been around the league for a while. John says Brunson and Cat pick and roll. That's it, right? That's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. So if they do that, my final prediction is Knicks in 5. If they do that. Simple. Predictions right now in the chat. What are your predictions? Knicks in 5, Knicks in 6. Do you think this can go 7? We'll see. Oh, my mic just went out for a second. Don't know what happened there. Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. Shout out to the chat. Dr. Mark, what's going on? I already purchased my Game 3 and Game 4 tickets for the Atlanta games. Honestly, if we stop them from making perimeter threes, they have no chance. Exactly. What's going on, Dr. Mark? Appreciate you. I gotta fix these comments. I was looking at them too. I was looking to take a trip to Atlanta to see if I can make my way over there. We'll see. Atlanta has to play lights out basketball the last game to stay in the game. They lost. We didn't even play good. Atlanta about to get cooked. Latoria says Knicks in 4. This Rover, Knicks in 5. Guys, they have no answer for Karl-Anthony Towns. They don't. Five games. Let's not play with our food. Let's get this done. And game 1, it starts on game 1. You know, you don't want to play with your food. You want to take these 2 in Madison Square Garden, split 1 in Atlanta, and finish this off in game 5 in Madison Square Garden. That's the perfect scenario for the New York Knicks, right? Take the 2 in Madison Square Garden, split 1 in Atlanta, and then take game 5 in Madison Square Garden. But this Knicks team is very capable of, but they really haven't shown us that they're a really good road team this year. They're very capable of beating both the Hawks and Atlanta. They're capable. So Latoria says 4. John says 5 games. Tyler says, let's go Knicks. Knicks in 5. Let's go. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited. Look, Saturday, 6 p.m. Play through Cat, and good things will happen. And Mitchell Robinson's going to come into these games and dominate, and the Hawks have no one to box him out. You can try to convince me the Langdale's return will will help, and it will. But I just think that Mitch has dominated everyone. And the second chance points, the second chance opportunities, Knicks have shown that they have been one of the best in the NBA regarding that. Take care of the basketball as well. Take care of the basketball, because I believe in that Hawks game, they had 11 turnovers in the first half. And that is feeding into the Hawks. But take care of the basketball. Don't turn the ball over, and away we go. Dr. Mark says Knicks in 5. John says, would you be surprised? I wouldn't be surprised at a sweep. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if 2 weeks goes by or 3 weeks goes by and the Knicks swept the Atlanta Hawks. I'll be like, yeah. That's the Knicks. The Knicks have just shown us that they're playing a brand of basketball in which the Atlanta Hawks have no answer for Karl-Anthony Towns. The Knicks have been playing through Brunson and Cat. Mitchell Robinson's coming into these games dominating. Our bench is performing, right? That's one area. Look, Atlanta has a little bit of their bench is not bad. It's not bad. Like, if our bench comes into these games and Landry Shamet comes into these games and he's cold, and Clarkston is cold, right? And Deuce is going through, like, he's cold. If, like, those three guys, if all of them are missing their threes, that could poise for an issue. And Shamet has seemingly looked like he has snapped out of that. But I just don't think all three of them are going to be neutralized and get cold at the same time. But Joel says, I'll be surprised if we win 4. So Karl-Anthony Towns' regular season numbers versus Atlanta. I have them pulled up here. Once again, shout out to the chat. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. Your New York Knicks face off against the Atlanta Hawks on Saturday in New York, and away we go. Cats regular season numbers against the Hawks this year: 28.5 points, 15 rebounds. Sheesh. 28-5 against the Hawks? Nickeil Alexander-Walker has averaged 28 points per game against the New York Knicks this season. That's the guy that you got to watch out for and neutralize. Look, you had the wings to do it, but last game they didn't do it. But again, he was shooting lights out in those games that he played in. He absolutely cooked us from 3 behind the arc. 6 p.m., what did I say? 6 p.m. on Saturday. Let's go. Jalen Johnson, again. OG Anunoby can lock up that matchup, right? In the 2 games that OG Anunoby played Johnson, he averaged 17.5 points per game, 5 points below his season average. So OG has had Johnson's number defensively. So watch if Quinn Snyder decides to move OG Anunoby off of Jalen Johnson's with screens and actions, which he will do. Or if Jalen Johnson decides to just play bully ball, which OG Anunoby has been prone to, underperforming sometimes this year. Another interesting thing is the road team has won every game this series. Knicks, both times they won against Atlanta, it was in Atlanta. When the Hawks won earlier this year, I believe that was the big Okongwu game. That was prior to the trades, if I'm not mistaken. And that's when the Hawks beat us in Madison Square Garden. So, if you want to throw out the Hawks aren't afraid of MSG, if you want to throw out that angle, I'll play along. El Figure says, do we know if OG's practicing with the team? Not known as of yet, El Figure. Try to get those probably tomorrow. We'll try to get that information out, and the media will probably be, I think the Knicks will practice tomorrow, so I think we'll probably get more information tomorrow regarding that. Mike Brown's playoff record as a head coach. Brown holds a 6-1 record in the first round series as a head coach. And the only loss came against Golden State when he was with the Kings. So Mike Brown has a really good success track record in the first round. And if you want to throw out the playoff rivalry, the Trae Young, he's not with the Hawks anymore, though. Like, there's no real rivalry here. Like, if Trae Young was still with this team, yeah. But there's no real rivalry. But look, the Hawks do poise a threat with their pace, you know. And, but still, I'm still picking the New York Knicks in 5. So, let's go. Let's go. Got about 20 more minutes with you guys. Then got to go pick up my daughter from school. So, just talking New York Knicks, hanging out with you guys on this Tuesday afternoon. And gave my prediction. I predict the Knicks in 5. I think if they play this series through Karl-Anthony Towns, inside out, I think it should be a short series. I don't see a world where this goes 6 or 7. Definitely not 7. If it goes 6, okay. Like, I just have to see it how it. Hawks would have to get one of these games, first games in the Garden. They would have to, and I just don't know. Like, it's possible because again, both teams have one on the road, but look, they're going to test the ankle for OG Anunoby. They are. They're going to test the ankle. Jalen Johnson, yeah, OG has barely. He said it hurt a little bit, so they're going to be testing his ankle, and that's where I think you got to watch out for. Like, how healthy is that ankle? Is he 100%? Are the Knicks just playing coy and just saying that, just being very precautious, which I think they are. But, again, you guys think the Hawks chose this matchup too? I think they were just fine with playing either the Raptors or the Knicks. I know a lot of people are saying that the Hawks chose the Knicks, but I just think that they thought the Magic were going to beat Boston. You know, everyone thought that. But I don't, like, I'm trying to throw some bulletin board material out there, but I just don't have anything. Like, I guess you can throw that angle out there if the Hawks chose the New York Knicks. But I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's the case because I think they just thought Orlando was going to win. Like, Okongwu has kind of gotten into little scruffs here and there. But their guys are, like, it's respectable for the most part. But it's the playoffs. That can change in a blink. Humberto says Knicks will sweep. Has the rest of the schedule come out? I don't think it has. So, series. I don't think it has yet. So again, Jalen Johnson averages 22 and 5, while guarded by OG Anunoby, that goes down to 17. So OG has had his number. Jalen Brunson, Dyson Daniels, that's going to be a matchup to watch, but I'm not really concerned about that whatsoever. Hawks fan can try to talk themselves into Dyson Daniels neutralizing him. Maybe. Look, last game, Brunson was inefficient, but he was just missing shots that he normally made. And no, the rest of the time slots haven't come out yet. So it starts on Saturday. That's what we know. And it's on Amazon Prime. So can't wait, man. Cannot wait, guys, for the New York Knicks to face off against the Atlanta Hawks. Try to pull up X to see if there's anything else I missed today. Once again, shout out to you guys tuning in. Again, my X Factors, if you're just joining or just joined, if you want to rewatch the stream, please do so. Make sure you hit the notification bell as well. This way you get a first look at the content coming your way. Just hit that bell down below. Was Mitchell Robinson and Cat. The Hawks just don't have anyone to neutralize them and box Mitchell Robinson out. Robinson has been doing this all year long. And versus the Hawks, remember, I remember coming on after that game and just in awe of what Mitchell Robinson was able to do, right? He kind of got the Knicks back into that game, Mitchell Robinson. So, away we go. Let me hear what Bobby Portis has to say regarding the New York Knicks. Bobby Porter spoke today.
That one,
We
This one's
already
big.
in trouble, Bobby.
This one's
So
spicy.
get in trouble with us.
we got the Hawks.
New York
to be
mad at
honest,
us.
To be honest, man, the Hawks are tough out, but just playing in that guard gonna be different, especially for some of these guys. You know, on the Hawks. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a different crowd, different energy, different bop to it. So I think the Knicks, you know what I'm saying, coming off a hell of a year last year in the playoffs, hell of a run. I think they got crazy momentum, you know what I'm saying, to make it to the finals. They won the in-season cup this year. They got a lot of, crazy momentum and, crazy hype. I think one of the best things happening to them this year is that they kind of flew under the radar a little bit. You feel me? Teams was more so hyped up about the Detroit Pistons, what they was doing. They was more so hyped up about, the Celtics, how Jaylen Brown kept it afloat, and then when Tatum came back, you ain't really heard much about the Knicks. So I think sometimes going into the playoffs, it's kind of cool to fly on the radar just a little bit and then pop out and show people.
They do a little bit of
Great perspective. Who you
I like that
Hawks,
angle.
he got that one.
It's cool to fly under the radar and then pop out and show people. Like Kendrick Lamar says. Sometimes you got to pop out and show. Bobby Portis, man. I love the take. Former Knick Bobby Portis. Maybe he's clamoring to be a Knick. What's his contract situation like? That was some nice words from Bobby Portis. I know Milwaukee's going to blow it up. So shout out to Bobby Portis. Sometimes you got to pop out and show. And I agree. The Knicks they've been flying under the radar because here's a player option for $15 million next year. Or 2 years. The Knicks are going to fly under the radar because all that we've been hearing in the national media and the mainstream is that the Celtics, and the Pistons. And the Pistons are really good. The Pistons are really good. If everything was chalk right now, if I was to pull up the bracket, right? If everything went chalk in the bracket, if you were going chalk, why is it so slow? Let's play the chalk game. Slow Runner says, I don't think the Knicks have the cap space to trade or sign Bobby Portis. Yeah, I was just saying that because Bobby had some nice words to say for us. So I was like, maybe he wants to be a Knick. El Figgy says, State Farm Arena is MSG South. Yeah, MSG South, Miami, Orlando, Atlanta, Charlotte, right? All part of MSG South. So if you were to go chalk in the East, Raptors, I think, have a chance against Cleveland, but you would expect them to win. Knicks advance. I think the 76ers are going to beat the Magic, so they would probably get the Celtics. Then you would pick the Celtics in that series. Then the Magic will play the winner of 9-10, which I think will probably be the Hornets. And then I think the Hornets can beat the Magic, and then the Hornets will play the Pistons in the first round. And I already saw a lot of, not a lot, but some people saying the Hornets can give the Pistons a run for their money in the first round, which is kind of insane. But then you would go Pistons. Then you would go Pistons versus the Cavs in the second round. Knicks versus the Celtics in the second round. Right? And that's what's looking more and more likely. So. And then Pistons, Cavs, you would assume Pistons will win that series. Knicks, Celtics, I still do think the Knicks are the better team than the Celtics. It will be tough, but we'll get there when we get there. Don't want to skip steps. We got the Hawks. Let's get there when we get there, right? Don't want to skip steps. But best case scenario would be the Cavs beating the Pistons in the second round, the Knicks beating Boston in 7 games. That's best case, right? But if it's chalk, the Pistons should run through the Eastern Conference Finals, and then when we match up with them, if we match up with them, we'll see. But I think the Knicks made out being on this side of the bracket. you have a tougher second round opponent than Celtics. Like you would have rathered the Cavs in the second round rather than the Celtics, right? So Cavs, I think, are food, and they haven't proved anything. I would rather the Cavs than the Celtics in the second round, although I think the Knicks match up evenly for both teams, and I think we have more experience than the Cavs because they just don't have playoff winners and playoff performers. But if there's a world where you think, could the 76ers knock out the Celtics? Right? Everyone has been clamoring over the 76ers about they can knock out the Knicks. Why are we hearing that about the Celtics? Like, if they can match up with the Celtics, can they knock out the Celtics? I don't think so, but we'll see. If Joel Embiid is healthy, maybe, but he's not. He's not healthy, so that should be we'll see. The 7-8 game will happen tonight. That 76ers Magic game is tonight, right? No, tomorrow. It's Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, 76ers versus the Magic. And I would expect the 76ers to win and face the Celtics. Johnson says, Mitch at the center position is our biggest advantage over ATL, not Brunson. Look, Mitch is a huge advantage. They have no one to put a body on Mitch. I mean, again, Langdale is hurt right now, and the Hawks fans are hoping that he will come back and he will be a boost for them. But that's where you have to exploit is their front court. You have to exploit their front court and then work inside out. That's where I think this Knicks team will have success. Zaire says Pistons and Knicks Eastern Conference Finals. Let's get there. Let's get there. Let's get there. I think so too, but let's get there. Cade's injury is serious. He's pushing it and it could hurt them. Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, injuries are a thing where you have to watch out for. The Knicks have been healthy. The Knicks are deeper. They're fresher, right? And, the West has some, like the Nuggets and Timberwolves are tough. Thunder have like the easiest road, in my opinion. Lakers, Rockets, no Luka, Spurs. They would get possibly the Suns or the Blazers, which is not terrible, but it should be fun, man. Look, Knicks are on the Celtics side of the bracket, and we have the Hawks in front of us. So let's take care of business in 5. Okay, maybe 6. But I just think that, again, if you're a Hawks fan, it's an exciting time for both fan bases. It's an exciting time for Knicks fans. It's an exciting time for Hawks fans because it's playoff basketball. You never know what can happen, right? You never know. And like just Rover said earlier, when has it ever been easy for the New York Knicks? So you can look at it that angle in which, last year's first round was tough for the New York Knicks, and we got by Detroit barely, but we got by them. Does the Atlanta Hawks pose the same issues as Detroit? Are they as physical as Detroit? No. No, they aren't. Do they have a better offense than Detroit? Yes. But last year, this Knicks team, the physicality, especially sometimes this year when the games will be physical, the Knicks struggled with. I just don't think the Hawks have anyone. Like, Jalen Johnson can get physical, but that's not him. Like, Okongwu, like, just play inside out through Cat, man. That's it. Food. If Aaron Gordon is healthy, then Denver will be tricky for the West. Denver and Timberwolves is like one of the best first-round matchups. I think Knicks-Hawks. I'm watching the Cavs Raptors, obviously. Raptors were undefeated against the Cavs too, right? This year. It's crazy. And I think a couple of those were without James Harden prior to the Harden thing, where they were earlier in the year. So take that with a grain of salt. But look, Pistons, you would expect them to advance in the first round. Second round, if they get the Cavs, that should be a fun, interesting series in which I just don't think they have enough to beat the Pistons if they're playing at their A game. So let's worry about our side. Let's worry about what we can control. And look, everyone is waiting for the second round, Knicks Celtics. But I just brought up, like, is there a world in which Philly, who I'm expecting to beat the Magic, could give the Celtics a run for their money? If everything's clicking, maybe if they have a healthy Embiid, which they don't, and he's never healthy, maybe. But we'll see. We'll see. Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. Atlanta is a finesse team that likes to get out and run. Yeah, I think they're 5th in the NBA in pace. Slow runner, 5th in the NBA in pace. Should be fun, man. It should be a fun series. I'm expecting the New York Knicks to come out on Saturday with a bang. Both teams will be rested. Both teams are fairly healthy. Again, Atlanta has the Langdale issue. Let me check the Hawks injury report. See if it changed. Oh, this was the game versus the Heat in which they rested everyone. I think they're healthy. I think they're fairly healthy besides Langdale. Yeah, Gabe Vincent, all these guys are rested. Yeah, Jock Landale, ankle. Expected to be out at least April 8th. Oh, that's like an expectation. But, yeah. Any OG and Anunoby? Let me just check that before we head up on out of here. Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. You guys have been awesome today. Key for Atlanta will be Okongwu being able to or not being able to hit the three-point shot. McCollum, Alexander Walker, and Johnson could exploit the Knicks' lack of size. Yeah, like I said, if you want to sell me on the Hawks possibly beating the New York Knicks, it would have to be that they are shooting above 40% from three. Okongwu's a pretty good three-point shooter. Again, they play 5 out kind of, with Dyson Daniels being their poor three-point shooter, but he has been shooting the ball better lately, right? He hit 1-3 against us. No injury update on OG Anunoby. And Sham says Embiid is in the very early stages of his recovery process. So that's looking like no Embiid versus Celtics if they advance. So, yeah. There we go. That's it. That's for the Knicks news. Appreciate you guys that were tuning. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. You guys are awesome. Once again, hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. Hit up the KnicksNation Instagram at KnicksNation, on X at KnicksNation. Simple. You guys can find me over there, and TikTok at KnicksNation _. More content coming your way this week. We're in the early stages of preparing for Game 1 of the Knicks-Hawks series. Shout out to the members in here. If you guys wanted to become a member and support the channel, just hit that join button down below. And away we go. Pretty much hit on everything today, most of the things today. Obviously, we'll talk about some more stuff as the week progresses. But Knicks are healthy. Got to wait on the OG Anunoby injury update. Hawks are fairly healthy. And away we go. Playoffs. This is the best time of the year. Best time of the year, ladies and gentlemen. So enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And I'm out of here. Peace.